Alright, welcome everybody to what is my favorite video to make every year. Actually, it's the only video I make every year. That's the correction. And as you can see, I am still in the dungeon that I have lived in for the last couple years. Actually, every single day that goes by, I forget what sunlight looks like more and more. And as you can see, my hair, yeah, I don't get haircuts down here either in my dungeon. But we are back. We're here to predict the top 10 highest grossing movies domestically. Now, I know it doesn't say that up there, but it is domestically of summer 2026. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yes, summer 2026. Now, every year when I make this video, there's only 3 goals that I have in mind. That is correctly guessing the top 10 movies. Not just guessing the movies, correcting the order that they'll be in. And then my favorite thing to do, and that is to beat Dan Murrell's top 10 predictions. Much love to you, Dan, but I have no one else to play this game with, and I mean, let's look at it. You inspired me to make this video, obviously, so it's always fun to compete with you internally. Now, first up, we got Spider-Man Brand New Day. I mean, look, this movie is going to be the top grossing movie because 2 words. Spider-Man. I don't think the Spider-Man brand has ever been bigger than it is right now, if I'm being honest. Spider-Verse, the video games, these movies, the cosplay, the cons, the previous actors, Andrew's movies, Toby's movies, it's just, there is so much there. People are in love with Spider-Man these days. This movie is a soft reboot, essentially. I feel like that's how most people look at it. We got a new director. We've kind of moved on from the high school period that this Peter Parker was going through. So I feel like that brings another level of excitement that people have for this. The trailer broke records like crazy. It's been years since No Way Home. I mean, what, 4.5, 5 years? And that was really the movie that was the first big movie since the pandemic started. I feel like people have a fond memory of that movie, of that time. I mean, really, no multiverse movie has hit as much as Spider-Man No Way Home, at least for me, and I feel like, honestly, for most people. So you got one of the biggest IP characters around right now. You got it in the summer. You got record trailer numbers. This is a recipe for a #1 movie. Alright, at number 2, I have Toy Story 5. I say people love Spider-Man. Well, people also love Toy Story. This is a generational franchise. I grew up loving it, and I still see like the single moms on Instagram. I see those little boys still, you know, dressed up as Buzz Lightyear. So I'm clearly getting a first-hand experience of the generational love that Toy Story has. And this ain't no Lightyear, alright? This is a proper Toy Story sequel. I think most people want actually some redemption to the end of Toy Story 4, at least me personally. That's why I'm not completely against this movie, because the last one just ended so terribly. It's like, you know what, fuck it, let's get another one, let's fix this shit. And the idea this time around honestly seems more fun than last one. I mean, the tablet idea, that's actually pretty fun in my opinion. Now, look, I'm not expecting it to touch the heights of Toy Story 1, 2, or 3. But this isn't a quality video. This is about box office. And people love Toy Story. People love Pixar. Inside Out 2 just did huge numbers 2 summers ago. Hell, even Hoppers is doing pretty damn good for an original IP. A lot better than Elio. So when it comes to Pixar and sequels, in the end of the day, people are so attached to these IPs, most people are going to go out and see it. It is a family movie. Family movies tend to do, you have at least one family movie that is probably in the 1 or 2 spot for a summer, because in the end of the day, what is movies for in the summer is to take your kids to when they're out of school for a lot of people. And this is kind of the perfect movie to take people to. I think this will perform pretty much on par with Toy Story 4. I don't think 4 was bad enough to lose many fans. The first 3 are so good. I think people are still pretty entertained by this property and want to come see this. This is going to hold the summer down until Spider-Man comes at the very end of July. Alright, next up is the Minions. What else needs to be said about the Minions? The Minions are so consistent. They are unsettlingly consistent. The world still loves Minions. Ever since they appeared in that first Despicable Me movie back in 2010, the Minions, they grab society with their little black gloved hands and they just never let go. Even just a couple years ago at Despicable Me 4, it still made so much money, close to $1 billion, one of the highest grossing movies of the summer domestically. There is always some guaranteed picks when you're making your top 10 prediction box office videos. You got Marvel, you got Pixar sequels, and you got Minions. If a Minion movie is coming out, you put this in your top 5. Ain't no doubt about it. I have doubted the Minions before. You will never see me doubting them again. Even if this idea is kind of strange, Minions and monsters, I mean, what? I mean, I get the appeal of the first movie, and I get the appeal of the second movie. It's the origin story to them meeting Gru. The minion meeting monsters. I mean, it's a love letter to the classic Universal monster. What the fuck? This is a Minions movie. That being said, those kids, they might love these characters, and look, if the Mighty Minions, that's what they were from the last movie, the Mighty Minions were able to grab people's attention, I'm not doubting too much about these monster characters, even if it's a little strange. So unfortunately, I don't think I have any other option but then to put the Minions and the Monsters movie at number 3. Yes, it hurts me just as much as it probably hurts you to have the Minions above the Odyssey on quite literally any list. But here we are, at number 4, the Odyssey. Now, I'll be honest with you, this one I thought more about than probably some people did. I know we're coming off of Oppenheimer, which made $330 million domestically, an R-rated biopic. I mean, really, that was kind of like a resurgence of Christopher Nolan. Before that, he was doing Dunkirk, which did good, but certainly wasn't making $300 million. He did Tenet, which did great for the time it came out, but once again, no big numbers in that. But then comes along Oppenheimer, and now Christopher Nolan's name is pretty much back to being as big as it ever was. And it certainly helps that this movie looks absolutely amazing. It looks epic as fuck. It looks like nothing we've ever seen before, so I'm sure that's only going to drive more attendance. It's in IMAX, which is going to only up ticket prices, which is only going to up that box office. And it's just unlike anything else that's coming out, so I don't think it's going to have any competition. It's not coming out on the same day as Dune 3. If you want an amazing theatrical experience this summer, you're going to be seeing The Odyssey. I think that this movie is going to be absolutely amazing, and it's not every day that you have a movie which tickets go on sale a year in advance and sell out. So number 4 is The Odyssey. Alright, back to fucking brain rot. Alright, so at number 5 we have the Moana live action remake. That just feels weird to say that is actually being made. But yeah, here we are. Live action Moana remake with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson looking as silly as ever. But at the end of the day, everybody knows that Moana is absolutely massive on Disney+. The second movie cleared $1 billion, did 450 plus domestically, and that's even with pretty mixed reviews. I do think there is a little bit of that live action, like really like this just came out and we're already getting a live action remake, so I think that's why I don't have this at number 1, other than also the IP names above it are just bigger than Moana in the end of the day. No matter how big Moana is, there are bigger fish, and the IPs above this are bigger, the IP being Christopher Nolan's name. But look, when it comes to modern Disney IP, you have a top 3, and that is probably Frozen, Zootopia, and you got to put Moana in that. These live action remakes, in the end of the day, it does have an audience. As much as people don't want to believe that, it has an audience. There are people out there who get something out of seeing this live action remake of something they love. When you're a super fan of something, you will support the next iteration of it. And Moana has a lot of fans. A lot of kids that probably will see this on trailers and say, I have to go see this in theaters, just like Moana 2. I have very little doubt this will still do very good, no matter how much complaining these live action remakes get. I mean, look at Lilo and Stitch last year. Everyone and their mother was complaining about it, and it was still the highest grossing movie of the summer. Alright, this part of the list is where things start to get fun, because some controversial picks will begin to be made. At number 6, I have The Devil Wears Prada 2. Honestly, originally I had it even a little bit lower. I have a little bit of doubt in this movie. Now, last time I said that was Top Gun Maverick. I'm going to look like a clown at least one way by the end of this summer with one of these picks. So, look, I still got it pretty high, and my better judgment made me bounce it up just a few spots. But, look, I mean, yeah, it's a sequel to a movie that is pretty popular, but it's not a $1 billion movie. The last movie made $124 million. Alright, domestically. Now, that came out in 2006. So, that's pretty damn good for an original movie, and for 2006 with inflation, I'm sure that's at least touching 180, 200 now. But that's it. 180, 200. That's the original. I know the movie has a lot of fans. A lot of women love that first Devil Wears Prada movie. Stayed around in the cultural zeitgeist. Maybe not front and center, but the name never died fully. And you got the original cast that always brings back fans. It kicks off the summer movie season. It was never not going to be on the list. It's still going to be one of the top 10, but its placement had a little bit of controversy when I was making it, and in the end of the day, I feel like to be safe, I made the safer pick of putting it a little bit higher, but I'm unsure fully on how this is going to do. All right, at number 7, I got Supergirl. All right, DC Studios' next movie following Superman. And if you followed the box office last year, you know Superman did pretty damn good domestically. Blew past Man of Steel, blew past pretty much every previous DC movie since The Batman. And while it's not a direct sequel, it's pretty much as close as you can get. I think the trailers look pretty good. People love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and this looks pretty reminiscent of it. And while most people would probably call it a ripoff, I think having that James Gunn name attached as he's running DC probably will keep people still on board at that point. This is one of those movies that I think the reviews are really going to make it or break it. If it gets glowing reviews, I could totally see it hitting here at number 7. If it gets bad reviews, it might be lower on the list. But I'm predicting the audience to like it. In the end of the day, I only have one other superhero movie, and that is Spider-Man at number 1. And that's even beyond superhero movies at this point. That could be its own goddamn genre, is Spider-Man movies. I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes, so in the end of the day, you still have that superhero market that wants to be fed, that DC market. It's still a new universe. People saw Superman. They liked Superman. Superman is still being talked about a year later, didn't just get forgotten about. Yeah, maybe Peacemaker got some mixed reviews. But in the end of the day, is Peacemaker really going to be hurting Supergirl's performance that much? I don't think so. So that's why I got Supergirl at number 7. All right, at number 8, we have a Star Wars movie. Am I seeing correctly? Yes. Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Look, I don't see much excitement about this. I think everybody watching this doesn't see much excitement about this. I don't think I've even seen one person say, I am excited for this movie. I've seen people say, I'm going to see it. I've seen people say, oh, I know about it. Who have you seen say, I am excited for The Mandalorian and Grogu? He was popular a couple years ago. I didn't even watch season 3. Season 2 felt like the ending. Honestly, it was the ending. It was a good mini-series. Season 1, Season 2, and it felt concluded. But then the Book of Boba Fett happened, and then Season 3 happened, and nothing has been the same. And it's been 7 years, nearly, since we had a Star Wars movie in theaters, and this is what we're following it up with? I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that this movie is being made. I have to be honest. And that's how it feels like most people are. Now, at the end of the day, this movie does have a trick up its sleeve, and that's why it is number 8 on my list. And that trick is 2 words, much like Spider-Man. Baby Yoda. I know it's easy to forget, or maybe we overshadow it now, but Baby Yoda is, by far, the biggest creation Disney has made with the Star Wars IP. I can't think of anything remotely close to how big Baby Yoda has been. You're going to tell me BB-8 is as big as Baby Yoda? Baby Yoda bumper stickers. Baby Yoda light-up toys. Baby Yoda plushes. I don't think anything is even remotely close to how big, how popular, and how still, even with the mixed reviews of Season 3 and Book of Boba Fett, seems like most people still do have a affection for Baby Yoda in their heart. And I think that trick up its sleeve is going to come clutch for it one last time and probably save this movie from a complete embarrassing box office disaster. And in the end of the day, I'm talking shit about it, but when the day comes that it comes out, I'm going to be in the theater. Probably most people that are saying, I don't see much hype for it, I'm not excited, they'll probably be in the theater for it. It's still Star Wars. Now let's not forget, it is only a number 8 though. Alright, at number 9 I have Spielberg's next movie, Disclosure Day. Now Spielberg in the last couple years has not made anything that big, to be honest. He did Ready Player One a couple years ago. That did about 130 million. I mean, if this movie did 130 million, it would still be pretty low on this list. And that's with an existing IP. That's with a shitload of existing IP in that movie. And to be honest with you, now it hurts me to say this, and I hope it's not the truth, but this movie doesn't look amazing. I really hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a great movie. I'm sure it's going to be good. It's Spielberg going back to Aliens. He's got a big budget for this. He's got the stars, Emily Blunt. He's got the name. Who doesn't know the name Spielberg? So you don't have to worry about that. I have no doubt people will know about this movie. And if it gets great reviews, I think people will want to go see it. If it gets bad reviews, it's gonna struggle. It's gonna struggle. I am very excited for it. I hope it's a great movie. Spielberg going back to Aliens, who doesn't want that to be a great movie? but I'm a little scared. I'll be honest. I'm a little scared. And that's why Disclosure Day is at number 9. Buzz, wait, Buzz, look, an alien! And that brings us to number 10. Scary movie. Never would have thought I'd be putting a scary movie on my top 10 list. But something about this movie feels different. I've seen a lot of people talk highly of the trailer. It's getting a lot of attention online. I think people like the idea of a parody movie coming out, making fun of all the horror movies that we've been seeing recently. You got Terrifier, you got Megan, you got Wednesday. You see these faces here. These are iconic. You got Longlegs. These are pretty big horror icons for the modern day. And you got the original cast coming back. I feel like that's not going to be some crazy wide appeal, but at the end of the day, it's going to bring fans back. I'm sure Scary Movie has its fans. The movies did pretty good. They've touched 100 million. Some of them went past 100 million. The last one didn't do great, but I kind of see this one acting like Final Destination Bloodlines, and I'm not making the same mistake I did last year not putting that on. I think the original movies were big, but they kind of ran its course. But there has been a lot of time since that last movie. The fans are there. People know the Scary Movie franchise. People want to go see comedy, and horror has never been bigger than it is now. So all those combinations together, look, there's a lot higher budget movies that are coming out this summer that I did not include on this top 10 that we'll talk about in a little bit. But when I looked at that list and I looked at all the combinations and I substituted this with other things, I mean, every year the hardest spot is the number 10 spot because there's just so many options, and this is where you got to really predict. Almost always the movie that I miss on my top 10 is in the 10 spot. But I look at Final Destination Bloodlines, I see something similar, and when I look at the other movies that come out this summer, I just feel like Scary Movie has something that they don't. So even though I'm terrified of putting this on my list because it could be terrible and no one goes sees it, and this could be the next Bob Burgers movie that I put on my list that I thought was going to get attention and just completely fell on its face. But I don't know. I feel good. There's a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance. Alright, so just to recap it, we got Spider-Man Brand New Day. I think that's going to be the highest grossing movie of the summer, domestically, no doubt. At number 2, we got Toy Story 5. At number 3, we have Minions and Monsters. At number 4, we have The Odyssey. At number 5, Moana live action. At number 6, The Devil Wears Prada 2. At number 7, Supergirl. At number 8, Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. At number 9, Disclosure Day. And at number 10, Scary Movie 6. Now this is something fun I like to do every single year. I like to break down the studios that are releasing all the movies on my list. I call it the Studio Showdown. And by that I mean I did it one time, so I'm just going to do the same thing again. So you got Disney. Of course Disney is the king of the box office. Whether you love it, whether you hate it, it's the truth. Disney at 4 movies, and honestly you could probably even put Spider-Man as like a 4.5. Yeah, Disney is running this summer. But do not overlook Universal with 3 movies. Wow, I mean, Minions, Christopher Nolan, Spielberg. One of those doesn't belong. And it ain't the Minions. Then you got Sony Pictures with 1 movie, but when your 1 movie is Spider-Man Brand New Day, yeah, I'm not very concerned about them making money this summer. And then, wow, what a turnaround from last year. Warner Brothers with just 1 movie, Supergirl. Well, maybe not 1 movie. Hey, maybe we might have some kind of merger with, oh, look, Paramount with 1 movie as well. That's Scary Movie. Well, maybe if they combine, then they can get to 2 movies. That's not my endorsement. You got Disney at top. You got Universal next to it. It looks like I'm in Orlando because look at that number 1 and 2 right there. All right, now this is something fun I like to do for the lore seekers. All right, I have a box office prediction track record going over the years that I've done this in the past. I've been doing this since 2019. Last year, I did all right. I'm not mad. 8 out of 10. As you can see, that's pretty average. Correct order, 3 out of 10. Hey, that's a little bit better than a 2 out of 10. I'll take that. Now, who could have saw Weapons and Final Destination Bloodlines? I don't feel too bad about missing out on those. And that brings us to my percentages. Now, look. My list accuracy is pretty good, all right? And now that's definitely the easiest one to be good at because that's just guessing the movies. But look at this. This is my top 3 accuracy. Now, this is not just guessing the top 3 movies. It's also getting it in the right order. I've done that about half the time now, so I'm pretty good at guessing what's going to be big. But where my flaws are, it's hard. it's always going to be hard because this is just some like, if you have a high percentage on this one, then what are you doing watching this video? Go to Vegas right now and get yourself some fucking money. This is my order accuracy, so how often I get the order correct on my top 10, how many placements I've gotten correct over the last couple years, and I've only gotten that right 15 out of the 60 movies I've guessed over the last 6 years. Alright, now look, if I'm gonna fuck up, it's probably gonna be with one of these movies, and this gets the special fuck you award. Look, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared of Mortal Kombat 2. It has IMAX screens. I'm not super scared of Insidious, but at the same time, I didn't include any traditional horror movies on my list, and like I was saying before, horror's never been bigger, so not having one on there, it kind of freaks me out a little bit. And then you got Masters of the Universe. I don't even know. I mean, look, the trailer numbers weren't bad when I went and looked. I'm a little scared of it, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I'm seeing a little bit more hype for a scary movie than I am for Masters of the Universe right now. But I feel like if I am going to fuck up in one way, it's going to be with one of these movies. Alright, to end the video off, I just wanted to look at one last stat, and that is the top 10 movies, their grosses all combined of the last 3 years. So, as you can see, we made $2.8 billion here domestically. Now, this is not the entire summer, every movie combined together. It's not that. This is just the top 10. Okay, because that's what, you know, if you haven't really been able to tell by now, that's kind of what I'm specializing in. So you can see that in 2023, the top 10 has done the best it's done since COVID. We had a small decline in 2024, but with Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine, still a massive summer. And then a bit of a bigger decline into 2025 at $2.5 billion. That's 320 less million between 2023 and 2025. But everybody's hyping this year up as the year we're back, the year we're back. And I mean, you look at that top 5, you got Spider-Man, you got Toy Story, you got Minions, you got Odyssey, you got Moana, and then all those other movies that are in there. I think we're pretty locked doing better than 2025. I feel like maybe slightly better than 24. It's going to be hard to do better than 23, but at the same time, if places 6 through 10 overperform and do really good, then we'll blow past all these numbers, to be honest. And that brings us to the end of another prediction video. I love making these, even though I do put it off too long. Dan Murrow already put his video out. It's hard to compete with the GOAT. It makes me want to do better. So that's why I knew I had to get this video out before May. Earlier than I did last year. Last year the summer movie season had already begun by the time I put my video out, but I had made my list before. So, you know, thank you as always for watching. That's a message to my future self because I'm the only one that watches this. But if by any chance you are someone else watching this and made it to the end, thank you. I appreciate it. If you have any interest in this, which if you made it to the end of this, you might have a little bit, try to predict your top 10 in the comments below. I'd love to compete with someone else other than Dan internally. He doesn't even know I exist. And thank you for checking this video out. See you next year.